The concept of being triggered has gained significant attention in recent years. While the term is sometimes overused or trivialized, it originates from an essential psychological principle. This principle calls for our respect, empathy, and careful consideration because it deals with how our minds react to perceived threats in the present that stem from unresolved pain in the past. At its core, being triggered is a profound emotional reaction, often fear or anger, that can feel overwhelming and irrational in light of the current situation. A scenario that seems harmless or even unremarkable to others can evoke an intense response in someone who is triggered. Imagine a person going about their day, feeling calm and optimistic, only to be suddenly plunged into despair or terror by a seemingly minor event. In an instant, a hopeful future is replaced by a sense of impending disaster. This abrupt emotional shift can leave the individual feeling blindsided and helpless. For those who endure such episodes, the desire to maintain composure and optimism is strong. They often reflect afterward on how exhausting and unproductive these reactions can be. Fear and anger are valuable emotions when they match the situation's gravity, but for someone who is triggered, the intensity of these feelings is frequently disproportionate. Such responses not only misalign with the reality of the moment, but also fail to serve the person's long-term emotional well-being. To better manage these episodes, it is crucial to understand the mechanisms behind triggers. A trigger occurs when the mind identifies something in the present that it unconsciously associates with a past experience of danger or harm. These associations are not random. They serve as clues to our personal histories. Triggers are like puzzle pieces that fit into unresolved experiences from our past. They reveal areas where fear or trauma once left an indelible mark. For example, consider someone who is frequently anxious about rejection or mockery. This persistent fear likely mirrors a time in their past when they experienced exclusion or ridicule. Similarly, a deep fear of being overpowered or ignored often reflects earlier situations where the person's boundaries were not respected. While the connection between present triggers and past traumas is not always direct or literal, the underlying link is undeniable. Triggers distill the essence of past pain, even if they resurface in altered forms. Let's take a closer look at how this might manifest. Imagine someone who becomes deeply distressed and self-critical after encountering images of highly attractive and popular individuals on social media. While such posts might cause mild discomfort for many, this person's reaction goes far beyond that. Their intense feelings of inadequacy and despair are not just about the images themselves, but about something deeper. Perhaps in their childhood they had a sibling who was favored for their charm or appearance, leaving them feeling neglected or unworthy. In this context, the social media post becomes a mirror reflecting old wounds, reigniting unresolved emotions of being undervalued. Triggers, therefore, trap us by preventing us from recognizing the differences between past and present. They blur the line between what happened long ago and what is happening now. A critical aspect of this phenomenon is that triggers fail to account for personal growth. As children, we may have been powerless in the face of adversity, but as adults we possess more tools, greater resilience, and broader perspectives to navigate challenges. Unfortunately, triggers often make us feel as helpless and vulnerable as we once were, ignoring the capabilities we've since developed. When we are triggered, our ability to discern nuances diminishes. Fear takes over, and everything begins to feel like a catastrophic threat. A small critique may seem like an attack on our worth, or a minor setback might feel like the end of the world. This loss of perspective stems from the way our past primes us to expect danger, especially when we are emotionally vulnerable or physically exhausted. The intensity of these reactions can make it difficult to see the current moment for what it truly is, a far less threatening situation than our minds perceive. Ironically, while triggers are distressing, they can also feel oddly familiar. Stability and confidence, which should be our natural states, might feel foreign or even uncomfortable. This can lead to a subconscious pull toward situations that reaffirm our fears. We may revisit environments, people, or content that unsettle us, perpetuating a cycle of distress. For example, we might return to social media platforms that evoke self-doubt, or maintain relationships with people who subtly undermine us. This pattern, though painful, can feel right because it aligns with our ingrained expectations. Healing from triggers requires a foundation of love and understanding, love that is patient and nurturing, much like that of a caring parent. This kind of love helps us learn to distinguish between genuine threats and imagined ones. It allows us to trace our triggers back to their roots, uncovering the dynamics that shape them. Instead of obsessing over what might go wrong in the future, we can ask ourselves, what does my fear about the future reveal about my past? What am I reliving? By addressing these questions, we can begin to disentangle our present reactions from the shadows of our past. Overcoming triggers means reclaiming the ability to approach life with curiosity, confidence, and emotional clarity, the way we deserve to from the beginning. True maturity lies in understanding what triggers us, why it happens, and how to respond with patience, rather than immediate reactivity. This process of reflection and growth can empower us to move forward with a greater sense of agency and peace, breaking free from the cycle of fear and rediscovering the stability we seek.